Well, recapping week 2, you had a lively conversation about stress and appraisal and coping. Um, and you introduced many different perspectives on the concepts. And I think overall, everyone has the general idea, but I'd like to pull together the themes um, of the various things that you posted. In terms of stressors, um, as you noted, and as is noted in the coping definition, there are internal stressors, um, and these can be a range of things from thoughts, feelings, um, psychological um, disorders, um, um, physiological symptoms, um, and there are external stressors. And many of you pointed out that these external stressors are continuously changing, which indeed they are. Um, and there's also a third category, which is meta stressors. And these are stressors that um, are defined as how you feel about the internal or external stressors that you're dealing with. So, for example, you may be experiencing postpartum depression, but you may be anxious because you're afraid that your depression is going to um, um, interfere with how you're going to care for your newborn. And so that anxiety would be a meta stressor. Um, and in the same way, you may experience a challenge at work, um, and on a given day, given the mix of what's going on internally and externally, you may or may not perceive that stressor as manageable, and so you may feel overwhelmed by it, or you may feel angry about it. And so those are examples of meta stressors. And when we're working with clients, we're dealing not only with stressors as our clients define, but also stressors that we can perceive, and the meta stressors, the ways that our client feels about the stressors that are going on. In terms of coping, as you pointed out, there are many good reasons that the definition describes coping as managing rather than mastering. One is that there are situations that are not things that you can master, like chronic illness, for example. And there are situations that are often new, that you have to try to manage, but that may not be manageable for some other reason. So coping is not a process of mastery. As someone pointed out, if you had mastered the situation, you wouldn't need to be coping with it, and that was a very astute point. And in terms of working with our clients, one of the things that we help our clients do is learn to change their methods of coping so that they'll have more positive outcomes. We also talked about appraisal, and it's critical for you to understand how your clients appraise or perceive the stressor and their own coping ability, because that's the key link between the stressor and coping. Appraisal is the bridge between the stressor and coping. And depending on all three of these things, you have an outcome, either a positive outcome or a negative outcome in the situation. And as someone pointed out, because external and internal stressors are constantly changing, and our appraisal is constantly changing as we grow and develop, we have to be in a continuous process of adaptation in order to keep up with the challenges of life. So, on the one hand, you'll be helping clients with the stressors themselves, all the way from basic needs to internal demands, to other external demands, and you'll also be helping clients develop newer, more effective coping strategies, and also developing ways of appraising the situation so that the challenges they experience are perceived by them to be more manageable. So it was a very lively conversation, and I look forward to your conversation this week.